Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I gotta tell you, I'm a sucker for these call-in type shows, and it's actually for a very particular reason. I like a lot of the voices that we got. I think we got some incredible talent in the space of media, online media, and commentary, but all of those respective productions obviously have their brand in mind as the top asset that must be protected, and so it creates certain types of limitations. You know, there's an editorial process that kind of creates limitations to the content, let's say. But the viewer, the regular person, who in many cases is just as informed, just as intelligent, in some cases more intelligent than the person who has recognition speaking on the platform, yeah, those people don't operate with the same limitations. And so these shows create great moments where somebody calls in and they just say what needs to be said. Well, we got another one of those moments, this time on Chris Cuomo's show. We got a caller phoning in and not wasting any time, not mincing any words, just hitting us with the straight-based facts. I want to show you guys this clip and of course use it as a vessel for the rest of what we're going to talk about. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so we're still talking about this Hunter Biden pardon and all the surrounding nuance. And well, take a look. This needs to be said.
Joan, what's your question?
Oh, no question. Chris, just a comment. It upsets me that everybody is like up in arms about, he gave Hunter a pardon. He didn't do it for Hunter. He did it for himself. I would say it was for Hunter if he just forgave the gun conviction and the other thing. But he extended it back to 2014.
Yeah.
That tells me Joe did it for Joe. Because he did it when Joe was vice president.
You may be right, and you may be right, and also two things can be true at once. He may have done it for the son and for himself and for the brother. Let's see if he pardons the brother. I love you and thank you.
You see exactly what I mean, right? Absolutely perfect. Caller Joan hit the nail so square on the head. And it's a beautiful thing because it's what the establishment isn't talking about. When you're paying attention to the talking heads, the conversation a lot of the times is so corporate and stale. And even on YouTube, there's obvious limitations and blind spots. There's been so much distraction here. And of course, the left did it on purpose to quickly try to create this partisan dynamic around this Hunter Biden topic. We're getting in the weeds of the legalese about this topic or using it as an excuse to attack Donald Trump to try to flip the script. We've seen the Democrats try to change the conversation here or distract, and it's obvious why. You know, caller Joan brings us back to having the conversation that the Democrats so desperately don't want us to have. The issue here isn't about Joe Biden pardoning his son Hunter Biden. No, the real story, the real headline, is that Joe Biden is pardoning himself. And that's exactly what the 11-year immunity deal is telling us. I mean, very conveniently, it dates back to 2014. That's not some arbitrary number. That's basically the year it all started. That's when the Biden family influence peddling project kicked into high gear. I mean, let's just use simple logic here. Go back to when it all started. What is the first part of this story with Hunter Biden? You probably guessed it, his lucrative gig working at Burisma. Well, according to NBC News, analysis of Hunter Biden's hard drive shows that he and his firm took in about $11 million from 2013 to 2018. I mean, the timeline fits perfectly. That's roughly 11 years ago. It seems to coincide perfectly with Hunter Biden's lucrative foreign business dealings. And of course, who's suspected to be at the core of all of it, and who at the time was supposedly the in man as vice president? Well, of course, that was Joe Biden. And so the conversation obviously goes beyond just a simple pardon for his son out of the kindness of his heart. You know what Anna Navarro would have you believe, that this is just a story of fatherly love.
The Hunter Biden story, the scandal, the this, the that, it's also the story of a father's love. And Joe Biden has never and will never give up on his son Hunter, and will never treat him lesser than. And so he is a father first. Take it or leave it.
No, it's Joe Biden who's linked to all this stuff, essentially protecting his behind. I mean, we know all the key pieces of evidence that tie Joe Biden to the tens of millions of dollars that his son likely raked in off his presidency. We could start off to the big guy. There's various emails in Hunter Biden's laptop referring to someone codenamed the big guy getting his 10 to 20% cut on a lot of these deals. Well, initially it was suspected that the big guy was Joe Biden, but the media told you there was no evidence to suggest that that was the case, even though Hunter Biden's literal business partner, Tony Bobulinski, essentially confirmed it.
I 1,000% sit here and know that the big guy is referencing Joe Biden.
Then, of course, we've got the mystery surrounding Hunter Biden landing $1 million gig in Ukraine, working on the board at Burisma with no relevant experience and with no actual proof of work done. I mean, for all we know, he was just smoking crack the entire time. This, of course, raises serious suspicion and concern because at the time, Joe Biden was in charge of affairs with Ukraine. And of course, let's not forget how Joe Biden withheld American aid in a blackmail play against the Ukrainian government, forcing them to fire the prosecutor who was investigating the company that his son was working at. Certainly not fishy at all. Then we have Hunter Biden's text message where he complained to his daughter about having to give half of his earnings to his father. We've also got Devin Archer's testimony, another one of Hunter's business partners, who testified under oath that Joe Biden joined at least 20 calls with Hunter Biden's business associates. We've got Hunter Biden's threat to Chinese businessmen in a WhatsApp message from back in 2017 where Hunter Biden was demanding payment from a Chinese businessman and explicitly stated in that text message that his father, Joe Biden, was next to him in the room, essentially using him as an enforcer against the Chinese oligarch. And that's just scratching the surface, not even getting into a lot of the emails that paint the whole picture and seem to connect Joe Biden, or at least his schedule, with a lot of meetings that took place. And of course, the actual photo evidence of Joe Biden being in the room and meeting with Hunter Biden's business associates. I mean, a whole lot of evidence, a pattern of corruption, and essentially selling off access and preferential treatment from the White House through his drug-addicted son at the time. I mean, this is a bad picture, and Joe Biden, in my view, in a way, with this pardon and the way that he structured it, well, it's probably the closest we're going to get to an admission of guilt. It proves the point. We were onto something with this Burisma thing. They attacked us, they called us conspiracy theorists as they always do, but now I guess in a way we get the last laugh. We were right, and this pretty much confirms it. And the left right now is trying so hard to reframe the conversation. They're really going with this narrative that right-wingers are so offended and so outraged, but they're essentially hypocrites because Donald Trump blah blah blah. But it's an obvious cope, that's all it is. Nobody's shocked by this blatant corruption. No, it's totally expected. There's no need to throw a hissy fit or feign outrage or throw a tantrum because the left has totally exposed themselves. Joe Biden has exposed himself as corrupt, despite the narrative that he's built that he's squeaky clean and Donald Trump's the corrupt one. And now the left is forced to face their hypocrisy in front of everyone for all eyes to see.
The presidential pardon was originally meant to grant the president the power to temper justice with mercy. It was not enshrined in our Constitution so that a dishonorable man could reward his criminal allies, friends, and family for their corrupt practices. I don't have a problem with Biden pardoning his son. He should have pardoned him. The crazies are coming, right? But to me, it's like, pardon more.
They talked a big game for 8 years, but now everybody sees that they are guilty themselves of every little accusation that they improperly threw at the other side. Joe Biden's going to get away with it. That's just the power of the presidency, I guess. But while he might get away with it today, I think history is going to remember, and so will we. And with his actions, Joe Biden told us all that we need to know for, let's call it, our recollection of history. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.